Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the exciting world of indie gaming with a deep look at Project Gray, a new upcoming open world action RPG that's generating a lot of hype. To underscore how creative this project is, one site even asks, have you ever imagined Indians fighting aliens? Which pretty much sums up the vibe of this game. I'm going to give you all the latest news and info about Project Gray, and break down what we know so far from the official trailer, gameplay demo, and news articles. So sit back, enjoy, and let's explore the intriguing concept of Project Gray together. Project Gray is being developed by Indie, a one-man indie studio based in South Korea, and it has become a very interesting watch. According to reports of the concept and gameplay videos, Project Gray is set on a distant planet called Asurma, where an advanced alien civilization known as the Gray mysteriously arrives. The player character is a native of Asurma named Galoso, who initially receives special abilities with the help of these newcomers. However, as Galoso uncovers the aliens' hidden motives, he turns against them and fights to protect his world. In other words, the story begins with a seemingly friendly alien visitation that grants powers to the hero, only for a dark secret to be revealed later. A twist of friendly guests turning foe at the core of the plot. Notably, the developers emphasize that as Galoso grows in power, he also discovers secrets linking Asurma and the Gray, deepening the mystery. The prototype gameplay trailer shows that Project Gray will be an open-world, non-linear RPG played from a third-person perspective. In fact, previews speculate that Asurma will include multiple biomes and settlements across its terrain. The planet Asurma features many ancient ruins and landmarks to explore, filled with puzzles and secrets. Even floating alien spaceships can be boarded and explored, and each ship is designed with modular elements that can be approached in different ways. We've seen Galoso using his newfound powers in creative ways. He can climb steep cliffs effortlessly, swing on a grappling rope, and even use telekinesis to move objects and enemies. These abilities come from a mysterious power residing in his right arm, which plays a major role in both combat and exploration. The gameplay footage hints at a variety of enemy types, including both enhanced native warriors and tough alien soldiers. Galoso fights with a combination of melee attacks and these newfound powers. He blocks and dodges attacks with a shield, and then counters with swift strikes of a primitive club, creating a methodical, almost Souls-like combat feel. Enemies wield heavy weapons and will require strategic dodging and timing to defeat, while Galoso can use his kinesis and charged attacks to gain the upper hand in tougher fights. We've even seen him break through a boss's shield with kinesis before delivering the final blow. In short, the action looks intense, combining parkour-like traversal, RPG powers, and satisfying medieval-style melee combat. In the demo, we see Galoso swinging a wooden club and firing arrows as part of his arsenal. According to one preview, future builds might also include side activities like hunting, fishing, scavenging resources, and even skill trees for progression. These kinds of features would make sense for an open world RPG, though the developer has not officially confirmed them yet. Visually, Project Gray looks absolutely gorgeous, especially considering it's the work of one developer. The graphics are photorealistic, environments and character faces have lifelike detail, and even the grass blades sway under the character's strikes. The dev hasn't publicly named the engine, but most signs point to Unreal Engine 5, given the advanced effects like high-fidelity lighting and physics we see. Many observers have noted how the high-end graphics and seamless lighting suggest the use of the latest technology. Aside from the technology, the game's art style is mature and gritty, with a hint of ancient tribal culture mixed with alien tech. It's reminiscent of other games like Horizon Zero Dawn in how it blends futuristic and primitive elements. As far as development goes, Project Gray is still very early stage. The only substantial footage available is the 15 to 16 minute demo the developer released to show the game's potential. In interviews and articles, the creator has openly used this demo to attract help, effectively recruiting others to join the project. In fact, the one-man team has already put out calls for additional programmers and artists to turn this prototype into a full game. Given the scope of an open-world game this ambitious, it's expected they will build a small team over time. Right now, there's no official release date. Sources clearly indicate the game is a long way from release with no confirmed timeline. In simpler terms, Project Gray is still in alpha or early development. The developer is currently doing all the art, design, and code himself. This one-man effort means progress will take time, so don't hold your breath for it to ship soon. But on the flip side, the fact that it's so polished already is quite impressive, and it's generated a lot of excitement online. For instance, Gaming Bolt points out that Project Gray doesn't even have a proper name as of yet, stressing how preliminary this project is. Story-wise, beyond the trailer, we can only guess at the details. The clues suggest Galoso may have a special destiny tied to the Gray invasion. He starts out friendly with them and gains powerful new abilities, then finds out their motives, implying the Gray might have something to hide about Asurma's past. Speculatively, the secrets connecting Asurma and Gray might involve ancient artifacts or a long-lost history between the natives and aliens. For example, maybe Asurma was visited by Gray millennia ago, or the planet's ecosystem is tied to Gray technology. In any case, uncovering those hidden connections will likely form the heart of the narrative. We might see Galoso exploring forbidden ruins or meeting other native tribes who react differently to the aliens. Perhaps some side quests involve learning about Azurma's legends. The trailer already shows complex pyramid-like temples and alien architecture, which hints that players will travel through very different biomes on Asurma. We can also guess that Asurma will feature diverse environments. The footage teases jungle-like temples, rocky crags, and the hulls of alien ships, suggesting Galoso may traverse varied biomes as he unravels the plot. And since the developer mentioned puzzles, it's likely some story secrets are locked behind solving environmental riddles. All in all, while we don't have the full script, it's safe to say the game will blend sci-fi with a kind of mythic adventure. That mix is one reason Project Gray stands out. It's not just shooting aliens, but discovering a deeper story of betrayal and identity. Despite the uncertainty, a preview emphasizes that Project Gray is looking like a really promising game if it fulfills its potential. From the outside looking in, Project Gray seems to be a passion project more than a guaranteed hit. Nevertheless, it has caught attention simply by how far one person has taken it. Journalists repeatedly note that Project Gray is absolutely ambitious for a solo dev, even calling it impressive that any gameplay exists at all. South Korean gaming news even headlined the demo as an impressive one-man open-world action game. We've seen a trend of these types of solo projects. An impressive alpha demo builds hype, and then the challenge is finishing the game. In other words, we should be cautiously optimistic. Fans hope a publisher might step in, or the team expands so this can become a complete title. If that happens, Project Gray has the potential to deliver a huge open world with fascinating lore. On the other hand, if it remains a tiny team, it might struggle to reach the finish line. For now, all news is essentially about the same gameplay footage from late 2022. There haven't been any new announcements or updated trailers that we know of up to 2025, so the latest news is basically that it's still in development limbo. The concept remains solid, but the timetable is uncertain. Hopefully any official updates would come in due time if more team members join. Anyway, that's everything I could dig up about Project Gray for now. It's shaping up to be one of the most intriguing indie games in development, and we'll be keeping an eye on it. Fingers crossed this ambitious project eventually sees the light of day. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss future updates. If more Project Gray news comes out, I'll cover it here, so make sure you're subscribed to stay updated. And as always, let me know in the comments what you think Project Gray's story will really be about, or if there are any new updates you've heard of. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon.